This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I am recording my very first in-person wine interview for some 3 years, and so I'm delighted to be in the hotel room of Monsieur Gilles Pons, who is joining us all the way from Provence. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Superb. We've just been tasting through a number of your wines from Château Les Valentines. Tell us a little bit about where you're positioned in Provence and what makes Les Valentines so unique.
Well, we are, Château Les Valentines is located in the very south of Provence by the sea, by the Mediterranean Sea. Right in between Nice and Marseille on the coast.
Right.
We're only like 2 miles from the sea. And it's an estate that I created with my wife 25 years ago. And the environment is quite delicious, and we are on schist soils.
Now, what's the history behind the name? Valentine, I believe it's the combination of, is it your children's names?
Yes, it is. When we came to Provence, we had 2 young kids of 2 and 3 years old, Valentin and Clémentine, and we mixed the first names to create the name Les Valentines.
Right. Now, what was it that drew you to Provence, of all places, to make wines?
Well, I am originally I am from Nice, so I was attracted to go back from Paris, where I was working, to the south of France, and I thought that Provence was an outstanding terroir and also an art de vivre, as we call it in France. So it was the perfect place to start something.
Now, Provence is, of course, known for its rosé. You make a range of rosé as well as some white and some red. Would you mind breaking down the percentages there so we have some idea of the styles of wine that you make?
We at Les Valentines we like to make the 3 colors of wines, because we think that the terroir of La Londe, Les Morts, where we live, is very interesting for the 3 colors. I have a lot of my colleagues in Provence who make 95 or 99% of rosé, but we like to continue to make white wines, about 15%, and red wine, about 15% also. So the rosé production is about 70% of all we make.
I believe you're playing about with around 9 varieties down there. Would that be right?
Yes, that's how it works in Provence. We do like to blend different grape varieties. That is what is interesting, and that's why also I would say that the vintages are very regular, because we have all these grape varieties at hand.
Right. Now, you make 5 different rosé. Would you mind explaining the 2 rosé that are in this market right now, and then the other rosé that you make, and what makes them distinctive from each other?
Well, the rosé that is on the market here in Ontario is a cuvée called Les Valentines, and it's a small, cute bottle that was designed to appeal to, I would say, the young drinkers,
right,
and to have them come to discover what a rosé from Provence is. And it's a very easy rosé to start with. Then we have the cuvée Le Caprice de Clémentine, which is another, I would say, very classic blend of Grenache and Cinsault, very aromatic, very balanced wine. It's a good wine to start to taste what a real rosé from Provence is. And then I have a couple of other rosé that are more made for the high-end gastronomy, very full-bodied, with some tannins also, and to discover the real terroir of La Londe, Les Morts.
Now, I'd be curious as to your thoughts on aging rosé, Provencal rosé, because I have had a couple that have aged rather well. What have your experiences been with that?
Well, usually people like to drink rosé because it's fresh, it's fruity, it's easy, and when you age rosé, you can be a little bit disappointed after a couple of years, because you will lose this freshness. You will get some other very interesting flavors, mostly dry fruit, nuts. Could be a great pairing with desserts, let's say with an apple pie. But aging rosé could be also interesting if you work with a blend, let's say with a lot of Mourvèdre. We have a cuvée called Le Grand 8, which is made from Mourvèdre and Cinsault, and which ages very well.
When you say very well, when would be the optimum drinking time for a wine like that?
I would say 3 to 4 years.
Interesting. You mentioned that you are growing on schist soils. What do you believe the schist soils bring to the rosé wines?
Well, I think the schist soils, they are so powerful that they bring about the same qualities to all the colors of the wines that we make on our estate. And I would say that they bring minerality and spices. That's the two characteristics of our terroir.
There's definitely a minerality, a salinity that runs throughout all of your wines, both the rosés, the whites and the red, and you would put that down to the schist soils, I'm guessing.
Well, a little bit, but the fact that the estate is only 2 miles from the sea.
Of course, yes.
Of course, the salinity comes from the humid air coming in all summer.
Your white I found fascinating. The white that you have in this market is the Château Les Valentines Blanc.
Blanc, that's right.
Not that complicated a name. Tell us a little bit about that, because there's some interesting old vine fruit in there.
Yes, it's a blend of a very old Uni Blanc. We are lucky to have on our estate 110 years old Uni Blanc.
Wow.
We make juice out of this Uni Blanc. We cool it, and then we add Vermentino and Claret for skin cold maceration of about 48 hours. So that makes a quite interesting white.
How would you describe the wine in the glass? I find it quite spellbinding. I found it quite lovely.
I think it's very aromatic, and it's a complex aromatic.
Yes.
You have in Provence usually a lot of people make white with 100% roll Vermentino. I think it's interesting, but it's kind of tiring when you drink a couple of glasses. It's so aromatic. So we thought that it was interesting to add in the blending some Uni Blanc and some Claret, and this will bring some complexity to the wine, and also it's a good full-bodied wine with aromatics of a little bit of tropical fruit like kiwi, like lychee, like ginger. It's an interesting white wine.
Most definitely. Which brings us to your reds. Your reds I found most enchanting. Both two very different styles of red wine there, but both utilizing some very old vine fruit. Tell us a little bit about those two reds, please.
We tasted La Punition. La Punition is a very small cuvée, which is usually not exported, but you have it in Ontario, which is great. And it comes from almost 100% of very old Carignan. It's very fruity. It's on the cherry, the spices. It's very smooth. There's no aging. So that's an opportunity to taste what Carignan is on soil schist. And we tasted also La Gourmande, which come from our oldest Syrah. Very interesting fruit, spices, pepper, full-bodied, and we are very close to Easter, so I guess excellence with lamb.
Yes, you had me hungering for some lamb after telling me that story about pairing this with some lamb. Fantastic wines. Thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution today.
You.
Really appreciate your time, and perhaps I'll get into more of this interviewing winemakers in person in the future.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.